Welcome back to Unstuck TV. I'm here with Cheryl Green and Beth Boggin.
Good job.
Got that right.
You got that right.
Awesome.
So Beth, I kind of wanted to talk about the impact on the family, because everybody thinks about the individual that's going through that journey, but they're not going through it alone. Tell us a little bit about your family and how they were involved.
Right. Well, I'm very, very blessed that my family is very supportive of me when I'm doing great and even when I'm not doing so great. And my parents really walked alongside of me. One thing that I think I'm so blessed in is that I was diagnosed and started having a lot of problems at the age of 17. So I was not technically a full adult yet.
Right.
I didn't have the responsibilities that someone who, if they go through this later in life, might have. And so I was able to take the time to heal. My parents fought for me, supported me. I'm sure it was stressful, as I have 2 kids now. I have no idea what they're going to put me through as they get older.
How old are they?
But I do think about that. 15 and 11.
Okay.
So,
Should be
We could
fun.
do another show on what to expect.
Yeah.
and my husband has had to walk through it to some degree. The funny thing is, when my husband met me, I told him all about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was healthy and stable probably for 8 years or so.
Okay.
He never saw it. And then after I had my son and I went off medication for that pregnancy, then I started having issues, and he saw it very
Right.
very loud, very vivid, and and that kind of changed things. But he has been a great help in being able to be with me and walk with me through those times.
It's amazing. And, doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, very important, but they don't get to see the day-to-day struggle. What would you suggest that families look out for if they suspect that one of their loved ones is going through this?
Well, one thing I think they need to talk directly to their loved one, at least try. Sometimes if the person's not completely healthy, they may not respond. But many times in cases where people are depressed or showing, if it's mania or any other symptoms, people will ignore it and kind of try to brush it under the rug because they don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe in general we need to all get trained in mental health first aid so that we know what to do and how to talk with somebody and the next steps. But a lot of times mania is one thing, but depression, you get kind of in a prison and you're very lonely and isolated, and you just want someone to be with you in it, not to fix you or fix it. And not many people actually have that ability just to come alongside.
Right. And give you that
and
safe
be in it.
space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So along those lines, it's great that you had family to support. A lot of times your family and friends will be the last place you can really turn to for support,
Absolutely.
because they want to help, but they don't always know how. And sometimes the things that are said may make it worse. So I highly recommend a couple things. One, that you seek professional help of some sort. But then another, even one of the strategies that I talk about for living unstuck is developing your faith. Now that's kind of almost a play on words here, because I do believe faith in God is important. But what I'm really talking about is that belief that things can work out. So who do you know that has gone through something similar that can just shine a light on things for you and help to inspire and motivate you? Because it's not always going to be where you expect it to come from.
Yeah.
And especially if it's somebody that's living with you while you're experiencing symptoms of depression, especially anxiety, bipolar, any of those conditions, because they have their own experience that's taking place as well. I had this huge mistake that I made in my first marriage after we lost my daughter. I just had this conversation this morning. 95% divorce rate when you lose a child. And you would think it would be something that's bonding, but the reality is everybody around you is having a different experience because of their education, their emotional intelligence, things they bring to it. And so we're relying on other people who are also affected to try to help us. So it's definitely important to reach out. That's one of the things that I love about Unstuck, is it gives you an opportunity to see a bunch of people who've had a lot of different circumstances kind of sharing what they've gone through. And the process is similar. Even though the
Right.
pain is completely different, the process is still very similar. So excited to have you on board and sharing from your perspective some of that same process.
Right. And that's one thing I really will back you up on the professional help. I always tell people immediately they have to find somebody, and if that person doesn't work out, it's a continual process
Right.
until you find somebody that you can partner with.
Yeah. So,
Yep. No, I agree. It took me 3 therapists after my divorce to find the one that I was finally able to work with and that was really able to help me through it. So I think a lot of people go into therapy just thinking, they know what's best for me and whoever I chose or whoever I ended up with is the right person for me. And that's not always true. You do have to
Right.
find that perfect fit and develop that trust or you're not going to get anywhere.
so you also mentioned in your bio a little bit about addiction.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of a byproduct of dealing with
Like
that.
that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to ask a question?
No, well, go ahead if you want to just jump in.
Well,
That's-
I believe we're all addicts. All of us, human beings. We come into this world and we have all kinds of emotional trauma happen to us, and it's all at different levels. But what we do is we go to things to kind of soothe us or like comfort us. And I've been addicted to just about anything and everything that you can be, and I've gotten over it, and then I've replaced it with something else. So I do think addiction is a part of a lot of people's lives, and they don't always see it because sometimes the addiction can be into what is perceived to be a good thing, like performance. Even we all want to be successful, but there
Yeah.
can be an addiction to that, and so.
I had a great conversation this morning with Robin Donaldson of Solace Club, and we had that same talk. We started talking about distractions and things that take us away from our problems, and a lot of times that's where addiction comes from. We're trying to not have to deal with the problem, so we turn to something else, and before you know it, there's addiction. And so the question came up of like, is what we're doing just another form of distraction? And in essence, it could be. But what I love about like what I'm doing now, I don't look at it as a distraction because I don't fall back to the same exact pain, the same feelings I had before. It literally has, by redefining what my ideals are and going through the processes that I speak about, it set me on a whole new course. It's changed the trajectory of my life completely. So is it a distraction? Yes. Is it a positive distraction? Of course. And if at any moment that I struggle, am I going to revert right back to where I was before? Probably not completely, because I've changed the course of my life along the way.
Right. Well, I believe too, like one thing I've learned is the answer to our pain is in our pain. And what addiction is trying to escape that pain and going out and fulfilling that hole or that pain with things that are numbing it, or just avoiding it. And if we could get better at just walking through the pain, we'd get through. We wouldn't cause more pain, because that's what addiction does in any form.
Yep.
It causes more pain.
So I actually came up with a formula for that, and I thought about these distractions and whether or not they'll work, because there are times when a distraction is exactly what you need. And what I went through is looked at that, and it's that there's an expectation that's not met. How am I going to feel about this in an hour, in a day, in a month, in a year? The longer I feel like I'm going to still carry around that emotion from the unmet expectation, the less likely a distraction is to work. So if I'm stuck in traffic and I'm angry about being stuck in traffic, I can listen to an audiobook or radio. The distraction will probably work, because an hour I won't care that I was stuck in traffic. But if it's a relationship that's gone bad, and I'm still going to care about that in a month or a year, I have to deal with it. There's no amount of distracting myself from that problem that's going to fix it. So
That's great. I like that. I'm going to use that.
all right, you can have it.
Are you saying chocolate is not going to fix all of my problems? Because I don't like where this is going.
Well, it depends on
Chocolate
how you
sometimes
feel
is
about chocolate.
necessary.
We're running out of time, so tickets are available for March 31st.
Unstuckconferences.com. Check out all of us at this conference. It's going to be amazing. We have 11 speakers for the day. It is going to be action-packed, fun. No matter what you're dealing with, you'll be able to relate to somebody.
Yeah.
Beth, how can they stay in touch with you?
Well, the best way to stay in touch with me, I'm in the process of rebranding, so I do not have a website yet, but I do have a business page on Facebook, and right now the title of it is Fitness and Motion for Life. It's in the process of being changed to Be Beautifully Brave, Healthy, Fit, and Free, but I will definitely be there.
And I'm going to give a shameless plug real quick for my new book, because I let Cheryl do it last week.
That's fair.
40 Strategies
Do you
to
want to
Living
Vanna write it for you?
Unstuck. It is now on Amazon. There you go.
Sorry, I don't-
She's Vanna Whiting it for me. Anyway, we look forward to seeing you March 31st at the Unstuck Happiness Conference. It will be at Alexis Park in Las Vegas. So
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for
Thank
joining.
you.